I'm Liz O'Neill. I go by Ms. I am the principal of Westlake Elementary in Daly City. I've worked in this wonderful district for 17 years and the past 4 as a principal.
My name is Nuala O'Sullivan-Haley. I am the principal at Garden Village Elementary School in the Jefferson Elementary School District, Daly City, California. We are a very diverse Title I TK through 5 school with about 256 students currently.
It kind of started back probably about 8 years ago when I was a teacher and I became part of the California Academy of Sciences and their Teacher Institute on Science Sustainability. Excuse me, that's a mouthful. And it was a program that they used to run. It was about 2.5 years. And that really just changed my thinking. That's where I really started thinking more about sustainability and about our earth and how we take care of it if we want it to be there for us. So I would say that's really where the focus started for me, probably about 8 years ago.
When I started at Garden Village, I came in the middle of the school year. This was back in 2019. I noticed that during breakfast, lunch, and supper program, the children were not fine sorting any of the food waste. Everything was getting dumped into garbage cans. And I noticed also that there was a tremendous amount of bags being thrown out every day of waste food. So I observed that and I thought, well, we could start small and start here and work with community partners and resources to get some bins in, composting, recycling, regular garbage, and I worked with Allied Waste. So that was my first little baby project coming in. And small projects can lead to bigger things.
About 1.5 years ago, I got the invitation to become part of this fellowship. And I figured that's just right up my alley. And so I signed up right away. I was just very excited. It seemed more about just expanding what I was already thinking about. And I wanted to not just talk, but to actually make changes. A lot of us in education, we have that solutionitis. Let's not just, let's not just discuss the problem. Let's do something about it. I think that's a lot of us educators. I realized with this fellowship, it's my vision, but also the vision and the support of the staff at the school. So I started off by creating a small team at my site of anyone that was interested in joining me. What do we want to do? What do we want to accomplish this? How do we want it to look? So although I did the meetings and I did the reports and all of the presentations, I really had the backing of my site team as well. So one of the first things that I really wanted to have happen, I changed my focus. I wanted the waste at lunch, and that's something we all talked about. But again, during the pandemic, we created even more waste in the interest of keeping everything, food items safe and individualized. We created more waste. And I was really thinking that this is not, although this is something that I feel is really important, reducing our waste at school, I also knew that 2 years ago was not the time to start it because of the pandemic. So my other passion is outdoor classrooms. So we started working at our site about what do we want outdoor classrooms to look like. We do have a school garden, but we wanted more than that. We didn't want it to be just a science and a garden. We wanted to create outdoor learning spaces for everything.
We were able to form a green team with our 3rd grade students. We met with them. They were very interested in forming a green team. We told them why. We had a meeting, asked them how they felt about all this food getting thrown away every day. And they were very concerned also. They are our future citizens. So we started with the green team, and from there, we did very small things, but it really, really helped a lot. So we were throwing away 7 to 8 bags of food every day. And we got that down to about 2 to 3 a week. We got rid of the little packets with the ketchup, the condiment packets. They went out, and we got the pumps. The students wanted to create a share table where they could put any produce that wasn't being eaten during lunch, like apples, oranges, bananas, any food that was not opened, so other children could access it. So that was all before the pandemic. So we started there, and that led to looking at the garden. So in the garden, we had 4 beds that were already there, but nothing was really happening in the garden. So that was sad to me, and I'm so glad that one of the greatest things that came out, the silver linings of this pandemic, was that I was able to work with other partners to get that garden up and going, so that when the kids came back, and when the adults came back on campus, we would have an outdoor classroom, and we already had hired a garden teacher. It takes a village, and we are a garden village. So it does take a village to create something and make it happen. And for me to see the students going out there every day and being able to access science and the NGSS standards is very exciting to me. They are learning so much, from the little kids, the little transitional kindergartners, all the way up to 5th grade. They are using the correct names for insects and for plants. They're so excited to be part of, it's their garden. They have jobs in the garden. They have agreements that they have created at the beginning of the school year with their garden teacher. And they love being out there. They're learning so much.
As we had our small team here at site, we decided we had some funding from a grant that we had the previous year that we weren't able to use. So we purchased outdoor benches and outdoor tables. So that was one of the things that we were able to start with right away, to put in different areas of our schoolyard for outdoor learning places. What amazed me was not just the 4 people that were on the committee with me that wanted to help with this, but how everyone started quickly jumping in. That was our original goal of my small team, that once they start doing it, then others will follow. Just like, if you build it, they will come. That's exactly what we were hoping for. But we haven't even been able to assemble our supplies yet, but we're still, we have them, but it's going to be a Saturday coming in and assembling our outdoor learning space furniture. But I've had so many people that have volunteered to say, we want to come in, we want to help set that up as well. For our student population, I find that's especially important. We have over 300 students, and the majority live in apartment housing near our site. They don't have access to yard spaces or just outdoor spaces. So I feel like it brings everybody to that same opportunity of being able to not only have fun outside, but to learn outside. So I feel like that just brings in that opportunity for all our students, whether they're in one of our residential houses next to the school, or as most of our families who are in apartment dwellings across the street. So I want to bring in those student team as well to help support us, to make sure it's not just what the adults see, but also what the kids need. We have best intentions, but it's important to get the students' voice as well.
We always want to make sure that we are addressing the needs of the whole child, and that activities like being out in the garden, exploring, learning, gathering information, gathering data is just as important, if not more so, than being in a classroom and doing a similar activity. When we came back in person last August, we knew that our students had been exposed or experienced trauma by being at home during this pandemic. They were very much affected by it. Whether it was a grandparent or a relative that passed away from COVID, or not being able to access a backyard in their own living environment. We have many students that live in apartments that are very close to our school. And those children told me we couldn't go anywhere. We couldn't go to the parks that were closed. We couldn't go to the library. We couldn't access green spaces. So bringing them back into what I wanted as a outside classroom, because of all the COVID recommendations, turned into, I feel this because I see it and I hear it, a very healing process for many of the students.
Taking care of the environment, sustainability, is something that's been on my mind for quite some time. And if I don't, then who? Okay, that is part of the job as a site leader. One of the things that drew me to being a site leader, I loved being a classroom teacher, but being a site leader, I can affect more than just my classroom. So that was one of the, that was something that was really important to me. And I have my own children, my 3 children. I have 300 children at Westlake right now. And I want us to have an earth. I want them to inherit, I know it sounds corny, but I want them to inherit the earth that I inherited. I want them to not have to struggle with climate change. Are we in a drought? Are we going to run out of water? Is the air going to be too dirty to breathe? Are we going to have smoke fires? Things that never happened before. Every year, we have a couple days a year where we're inside because of smoke, because of wildfires. And then I want things to be better for our children.
I am the school leader, and as the school leader of Garden Village Elementary, I feel it is my personal responsibility to help develop sustainability at my school, to promote behaviors for our future students and citizens by providing lots of opportunities on how to reduce school waste, classroom waste, how to conserve our resources that seem to be dwindling, and, you know, to go on and grow up and engage in environmental and social justice.
The advice I could give to other schools or school sites that want to make these changes is what I touched on earlier. Don't give up and start off small. Starting off small is okay. And you can have many different goals, but take off a piece of it at a time. Don't feel like everything has to be accomplished by June. Like, for instance, I have several goals of wanting my outdoor classrooms and wanting to reduce waste. But I know I can't do all of that right now. So I have my bigger goals, and I'm working in smaller pieces so that I don't become overwhelmed and that the school site community doesn't become overwhelmed.
To look at an area at your school that needs change, whether start off small, right? And start reaching out to people in your community. Start reaching out to your parents. Make sure that student voices are heard. Present at board meetings. Celebrate your idea, put it out there, and get as many people involved as possible. That would be my advice if you're going to be a change maker or look at something at your school that is not very sustainable or needs to be changed, and then start the work from there.
I would very much like to continue working with my very motivated team I don't feel like I have all the answers myself. I have my vision, but I don't have all the answers. So working with the team as how do we want to move forward as a school? I feel like there's a lot more buy-in from all involved. When teachers ask me for things, I know that they feel passionate about them. When I ask them for things, they know I feel passionate about it. So we have that trust with each other. And I think I won't give up on my vision, but continuing to work with my staff and what do we want to do at Westlake and how can we make that happen?
We have a board meeting coming up in April where a group of students are going to present to the board what they have found. They are looking at metrics right now in regards to the composting program that we have in place. And with the challenges of COVID, we have many classes that are eating outside in various parts of the school, including the garden during lunch, and also some inside the cafeteria. So the students have gotten creative, the green team, by putting out compost buckets. They now want to look into how they're going to weigh, but this is something that we're going to get some math and different curriculums going from their findings. For example, how many pounds of waste or compost waste are we picking up every week? Yeah, I am working with a partner and my garden teacher and some of my class certificated teachers we're writing a grant to get funding to plant more natives around green. We have a lot of green spots in our school where there's nothing really growing except weeds. We had a lot of construction done during the pandemic, which caused a lot of runoff when it rains because of the construction. There was no plants put in those spots that were dug up. And so that's something I'm really excited to work with the partners that I'm currently teaming up with right now.